Hi Flosstube. I'm Angie, the Second Wind Stitcher. Today is September 30th, 2023, and I just want to welcome everybody to my channel for Flosstube number 2. So first, I want to thank everybody for watching my first video and all the likes and subscribes and the comments that I got. I was absolutely overwhelmed by the amount of positivity and the amount of likes, and I have over 600 subscribers already, which I was shocked by. I think that's amazing. And I really hope that I continue to provide good content for people and that you enjoy seeing the progress that I'm making on my projects. I'm excited to be here. I really did enjoy filming the first Flosstube. I think, like I said, I was pretty nervous during that first one. I'm still a little nervous, but I did have just a lot of fun sharing all of my projects with everybody. So yes, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't say that enough. I really was just overwhelmed by the amount of comments and subscribers that I received for the first video. Just overwhelmed. So I thank you. And if you're new, welcome to my Flosstube number 2. I do hope to possibly do bi-weekly updates in the future. I think through the end of this year, it'll probably stay monthly because just the way that I have my WIPGO set up. And so I do use the WIPGO process, which if you're not familiar, Jessie Marie Does Stuff has some videos on how WIPGO works. I'll do a little bit of explanation later, but I do most of my stitching based off of my WIPGO boards. So that will, and just because the goals right now are for 5 days for each project, and I have 4 projects that get called every week or every month. And then I do have another project that I'm actively working on that is a gift for somebody that I need to get finished so that I can get it to the framers in time for the event. So I just won't have a lot of content every other week. So I think we're going to stick with monthly, but I have some plans for future to get more projects worked on in a shorter amount of time for next year. So I'm still kind of working those plans out. I will share them as I come up with them. I have some fun ideas, I think. We'll see how it goes, but I'm super excited for that. I did have just a few questions that I wanted to talk about from comments on my first video. So the first one was, what is a floss monster? So I made a reference to a floss monster, but I had a bunch of floss monsters in one of my project bags. And basically this is a floss monster. So I use floss drops for most of my projects. And then I put them on these bendy keychain rings. I know a lot of people also use like the solid rings. I just prefer the bendy ones. I used to use the solid ones, but I like these better. And then I put a tag on it with what the project is so that if for some reason one of these goes astray, I always can know which project it goes with. But because these can get a little overwhelming, this one's not too bad. It's only got about 30 colors on it. But if you have a project like a max color and you're working with 230 some odd flosses and you kit up like I do, then it can be a lot. So it looks like a monster when when it's all together. So this is a floss monster. I did not coin that phrase. I think Rachel Ray Crafts is who I heard it from, and I don't know if she heard it from somebody else, but I'm gonna link her below. I think that's who I've heard it from. So the next question is, sorry, I've got my notes in my lap, so I apologize. I keep looking down, but I don't want to forget anything. So I had another question about how far do I carry my threads if I don't park, which I don't park. It does not work. My brain does not like parking. So the answer is it kind of depends on where I'm at in the project. So if I have a lot of stitching already done in an area and I'm trying to get to a ninja stitch or something like that, If it's more than 4 or 5 stitches, I probably will thread my needle underneath some existing stitches so that I can get closer to where that ninja stitch is, or where I'm going to continue stitching a group of stitches. Mostly so that nothing can get caught on that kind of floating thread. So I will do that if I've got a lot of stitches already in place. If I don't have a lot of stitches already in place for the area, I will just carry it, and not typically more than 2 or 3 inches. And the reason for that is those will get stitched over as I continue to fill in, especially on a full coverage. If it's not a full coverage, I don't typically carry more than 2 or 3 stitches, because, you know, it might show through the fabric or something like that. So if it's not a full coverage, I do not carry much more than 2 or 3 stitches. And if it is full coverage, it depends. So I hope that answered your question. I don't use a stand typically. I kind of keep my Q-snap sort of in my hands. I do stitch with both hands, and if anybody's interested, I can try and film a demo of how I do that, but I don't really have the setup here to kind of show how I do that two-handed stitching without having a stand. So I do have a desk stand or a lap stand that I will probably bring to retreat with me, since I'll be stitching at a table, but that's not typically how I stitch. And that is something that I've sort of figured out for myself over the years. I used to do, you know, the stab and pull method, where you're stabbing with, you know, holding with one hand and stabbing and pulling and stabbing and pulling. I found that over time I was getting some issues with probably like carpal tunnel in my left hand, the one that I would hold the Q-snap with. And so that's when I started trying to figure out if I could kind of modify how you would stitch with both hands using a frame or a stand, to clip your hoop or your Q-snap or your, you know, scroll frame or whatever in. And I did find a way that works for me. So if anybody's interested, please comment below, and I will try and do a little short video on how I do that. Because I know it's not for everybody, and I know people love their stands, and I've tried it. I have a Lowry, and I just can never figure out a good way to like get it set up and actually have it work for my stitchy spot. So it's okay. I might sell it someday. But I also feel like if I can find the right chair, I would be able to use the Lowry a little better. I did try it. It's not quite working. So I'm not ready to pull the trigger on selling it yet. But maybe in the future. Okay. Wow. I digress. The last thing that I had asked was, what is the tag that I have on my bags? Because they said, oh, it looks like an old hotel key or motel key. And that's exactly what it is. I found these on Amazon. They were nice and big so that I could put a label on it that has the name of my project. And then what I do is I have some Kallax storage systems from IKEA. So I can slide this in and have this hang out the side so that I don't have to pull the whole bag out to figure out which project is which. So that was how, that has really helped me be able to find my projects on a, really quickly. So that's what that is. And then I did buy some lobster hooks. I didn't get all fancy and put this through the, you know, keychain part of it, just because it like hurts my fingers. And I had over, you know, like 30 some odd project bags to put these on. So I literally just put the lobster claw through the keychain part and then through the hook on the zipper. And it's working just fine. So that's what I did for that. So thank you for those questions. If anybody does have other questions, I am trying to be really good about reading, responding to comments, hearting things that as I see them, that doesn't necessarily require a specific response back. So yeah, please do, if you have questions, put them in the comments and I will get back to you. Okay. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about is I am going to the Stitch New England retreat, which is in Massachusetts. It's October 13th and 14th, so that's the Friday and Saturday. I'm very excited to attend. This will be my very first cross stitch retreat, which is kind of amazing. I'm going to be driving, so I do love a good road trip, and I thought I've never really driven out to the East Coast before, and there's nothing like a fall drive to make me happy because I do love being able to see the various leaves turning and things like that. So I'll be, driving through New York, New York State, for a good portion of the drive. So hopefully I'll be able to see some pretty colors along the way. So if anybody is also attending the Stitch New England retreat, please comment so that we can try and hook up while we're there. I'm very excited to meet new friends. I have a few people in my life who are crafty, but it's always wonderful to have more people that I can share my love of cross stitch with. So yes, please do comment if you will also be at the retreat and would like to meet while we're there. Okay, so let's dive in to my progress. The first project that I stitched on for September is a WIP Go call. It is the Tiki Beach Sunset Story Keep. It is an Amy Stewart design, or Amy Stewart did the artwork, and then Heaven and Earth Designs is the designer for that. So I am stitching this. Let me show you what it will look like when it's done. So it's gorgeous. I absolutely love this project. So I'm stitching this on 18 count fortnight fabric called Eccentric Sky. I did start this on November 1st, or excuse me, oh my gosh, September 1st. And I did show this in my initial WIP parade. I just had a tiny, tiny little start because I did the WIP parade on September 2nd and I had started it the night before. So far I have 1,645 stitches out of 62,400 stitches. And that puts me at 2.64%, which I'm super happy with. I was hoping to get 2% done, and I managed to surpass that. So this is beautiful. I'm loving it. It will definitely be on my WIP Go board for next year. So the next one that I worked on was Resistance is Futile. This is from Long Dog Sampler. This is one of their band samplers. And I love this. I mean, again, I love all of my projects, but this one's, I do enjoy a good band sampler. I don't like a lot of alphabet samplers. I'll do one on occasion, but alphabet samplers are not my favorite. But I do love a band sampler. So I worked in this area. I had all of this done the last time you saw it during the WIP parade. And then I worked on this section right here and was able to get, 2.5 of those motifs done. So this is being stitched on 18 count Cozy Cove Ada from Fortnite Fabric as well. And the thread that I'm using is from Color and Cotton, but it is one of their mist dyes, so it does not have a name. But I do love it. I've got 3 20-yard skeins of this from Color and Cotton. I managed to snag a few of those because when I saw it, I was like, oh, I think that would be perfect for a long dog. And it is. I'm loving it. So that was the second project that I worked on in September. The next one that I worked on is the Supersized Max Color Tale of the Red Swan. This is also from Amy Stewart and Heaven and Earth Designs. So this is where I'm at, or this is what it will look like when it's done. I'm just stitching up in this area, so it is a lot of light colored stitching. I'm hoping that the camera will pick this up. But you can see, it's a lot of light blues. There's a lot of 3865 over here. There's a big chunk of it that will be up here for those clouds. But I do feel like I made some pretty decent progress for such a big project, but it won't seem like it when I tell you the numbers. And then I did something new for this one because it's such a big project. I'm stitching it on a 20 count easy grid. I don't care for 25 count. I've only got, you know, like one project on 25 count. I think I've got one other project on a 28 count. It's not my favorite. So I, you know, because this is so enormous, I really wanted to make sure that I was stitching it on a count that I would enjoy. So I got this ginormous piece of fabric. It's, you know, 60 inches, 60 inches wide. And it barely, you know, like this project will just fit on this piece of fabric. So I saw some other floss tubers with these ribbons to kind of wrangle the fabric. And so I did end up with a kind of this big ball of fabric in the front here. But I think as I continue on with this project, these ribbons that are holding this are working a little better than the magnets, because with the magnets, like they will pop off very easily. Whereas when you're tying it with these ribbons, it was pretty fantastic. So I might convert a bunch of my bigger projects that have a lot of fabric to wrangle to this kind of ribbon process. There are a variety of other YouTube videos out there that will show how to do that. If anybody's interested, I can try and make one of my own and show how I did that. I have plenty of large projects that I can convert to that ribbon. So if you're interested, please comment below and I can do a short demo video on how to do the ribbons. But I found it really helpful, and it, again, just the way that I stitch it didn't get in the way too much when I was stitching. So I will use that method in the future. Okay, the next project that I worked on, and this is also a new start, is the September Quaker. So I am doing all of the months this year. So this is September. I do have one modification that I made, and that was because I'm doing this on a very pale gray fabric, or almost like a silvery fabric. It's called Over the Moon. It's 32 count Over the Moon from Color and Cotton. It's the same color that I'm using for all but one of my Quakers. And there's one color called Pixie Dust, which is this one. It's got some very pale purples, but it also has a lot of this very pale silver, which is almost the same exact color as my fabric. And it just was not showing up. So I went through my overdyed stash and I found a color from Threadworks that I have. It is, I think they call it Purple Coral, but if you can't find the name of it, it is Threadworks 1079. And this one is just showing up better. I know this is really hard to see on camera, but you can see it's a little bit darker. The variegation is not quite as much, but it definitely has the same, you know, color palette. And that is what I am using. And I'm really glad that I did that, because that Threadworks color is showing up much better than the Pixie Dust was. So it's this color and like this color. This is the Threadworks. So when I was first kind of trying to do this bottom line here under the September with the Pixie Dust, it did not show up at all. You couldn't see it. So I'm very happy that I frogged that out and went with this Threadworks color. I love all of these colors. Purples are my jam. So this is beautiful. Didn't get it finished, but it will go on my WIPS board for next year, because all of the Quakers that I didn't finish or that I don't finish this year will absolutely go on the WIPS board for next year. So love September Quaker. The next one that I did is actually something that they call a SAF, which is a start and finish. So it's just a little baby chart. It is called Friendship. It's by Little House Needleworks. They actually have a series of these with the little sheeps. This is on a 32 count R&R linen. It is a gray, but I don't remember exactly what it's called. So I started this on September 4th, and I finished it on September 22nd. And I'll be honest, I was thinking about doing this as, so at the Stitch New England retreat, they are doing a smalls exchange. And I initially started this thinking this would be my smalls exchange project, but I changed my mind. I changed my mind. I do have that finished. I have it almost fully finished of the project that will be going with me as for the smalls exchange. Pardon me. I'm going to take a separate video and put it into my next Flosstube because I don't want to give it away. If anybody is watching this video that's also going to the Stitch New England retreat. So yeah, I'll show that in the next video. I'll do a little separate video. So that one is done, and I'll probably end up making it into like a little pink cushion pillow because I think those are perfect for that. So okay, the next project that I did was this is from Evertote, and this was for sampler September. So I didn't do a lot of sampler stitching, but when I saw this one on the Evertote website, I was like, oh, that looks fun. And they had a cool project bag. So this is for Maximum Cross Stitch. It is September's Revenge. It is beautiful. I don't have a huge start on it, but for us, I only worked on it for a single night. I feel like I did pretty good. So I've got 2 of the letters, I've got 1 of the birds, and this is the start of one of those flowers. So I'm doing this on 32 count Belfast from Fiber on a Whim in Milk and Honey. I think it calls for affogato, which I don't have it. And I didn't have a chance to order some affogato, so I kind of dug through my linen stash and found this one, and I think that this is a pretty good substitute for affogato, is this Milk and Honey from Fiber on a Whim. So I started this on September 16th, and I did really just work on it the one day. So it will get put into rotation next year as well. And maybe I'll do a little more focus on sampler September next year. But yeah, I do love this one. It's beautiful. And I'm doing that 2/2 full cross. So most of my projects are going to be 1/2 or 2/2 full cross. I only have a couple projects that I do a tent stitch on. I do typically prefer to do full crosses, and I do typically prefer to work with 2 strands whenever I can, because I like to loop start. So and then the final project that I worked on that I'm going to show today is I guess technically it is a sampler, but this is the Love is Love from Jan Hicks Creates. So this is actually going to be a gift for a family member for their wedding. So I don't think any of my family really watches this. I haven't broadcasted a whole lot to family members, mostly because of this project. Mostly because of this project. So this is I need to get it finished relatively quickly because I need to get it up to the framers so that this can be framed. So I did have to move the Q-snap. I'm going to try and post pictures of what it looked like from my WIP parade so that you can see progress. But I did move the Q-snap, so everything above this is complete. And I moved the Q-snap down, and this is as far as this goes down at the bottom. So I finished this up actually last night. And then I will do some customization with the names and the wedding date below this. But I made some decent progress. So Love is Love, Jan Hicks Creates. I'm working this on a 32 count Belfast linen from Bestitch Me called Morning Fog. It actually doesn't, there's more green in this than what the camera is picking up. But it is a beautiful fabric. I love Brandy's fabric. Yeah, it's gorgeous. So I also did do a silks color conversion. So these are all PR or Silks for You silks. So if anybody is interested in my color conversion with those Silks for You, please let me know and I can post what colors I chose for my silk conversion. So lovely. I love that project. It's beautiful. It's going to be gorgeous. Okay, so that was all the stitching that I did in September, minus the one that I finished for the Smalls Exchange. The next thing I'm going to go through is what I plan on working on for October. So 3 of the 4 of my WIP Go calls are new starts. So these are all planned, you know, like I had planned to do these from the beginning of the year. So this is not, it just so happened that a lot of the calls that I had for the last part of this year are my new starts. I didn't have a lot of new starts in the beginning of the year. They were projects that I already had started. So yeah, yes, it's going to be a lot, but I'm okay. I'm okay with it. So the first one is going to be from Tilton Crafts. This is Halloween Night. I think it's just like a Shutterstock, but I do like, and I might have done a little bit of switching on my WIP Go board so that this one was called in October. Maybe just a little. That's okay. It's my board. It's my rules. So that is what I will be working on. I'm going to be stitching this on, it's an 18 count Aida. It's called Silver Mist. This is from Mystic Fabric. I think I said before, I'm in Misty's Fabric of the Month Club. So this is just, it's picking up pretty well. It's a very silvery gray. And again, I don't mind stitching on a hand-dyed fabric on a full coverage because it's just a little less boring than when you're stitching on, I don't like stitching on white fabric either. So, and I do have a fairly significant stash of fabric, so it's okay. And then the next one that was called, so, oh, that's for number 14. The next one is for number 19. And these are my 2 full coverage WIP Go board. So this is Mini Ladybird in the Meadow. This is a retired chart. It's by Lucy Petaway. So it was from Heaven and Earth Designs. I think that Lucy Petaway has moved her designs over to Bothy, and some of her designs can be found in kits from Bothy Threads. So, but I managed to snag a few of her charts before they were retired. This will be the first one that I'm starting. So it is the mini. I feel like her artwork really lends itself well to the minis, just because, you know, there's not, it's not like you're doing a bunch of like faces or something like that where you really need to have, you know, the pixels basically. Yeah, so I went with the mini on this one. And the fabric that I chose is another 18 count Aida. This one's from Fortnite Fabric, and it is called Happily Ever After. So it's a little more blue again than this is showing. It is, yeah, it's more of a blue gray. So this will be just a nice background fabric. So that's that one. The next one for number 14 is the October Quaker. So I literally put 12 Quaker spots on my WIP Go board, and if one didn't get specifically called, I did do some shuffling just so that for each month I would do a Quaker basically, and I would do that month's Quaker. I probably won't do that next year. I'll probably just let it fall where it comes and work on it when it gets called, and not work on it in its specific month. But I am using the called for color and cotton. These are beautiful, gorgeous fall colors. Love them. And then again, I'll be doing this on the 32 count Over the Moon fabric from Color and Cotton for the linen. But that's what this one will look like. So that one's really pretty too. These are all gorgeous. They're pretty dense stitching for the size of them. It's actually quite a lot of stitching. But I'm really liking that series a lot, and I think they've been pretty popular. So the final one that I have is, it is actually a full coverage, but it's one that I, like I ran out of space on my full coverage. It is, sorry, I forgot to pull this out of the bag. It is a Gecko Rouge, and it is called Solstice Pentre. So it's the one of the standing stones that you would see in the UK. So I have a very, very small baby start on this. But I'm excited to get some more progress on my first Gecko Rouge. So those are the current plans. I suspect that I will pull a few other projects that I might take with me for the stitching retreat. I think one that I will probably bring is another kind of Halloween-y project that it's called Probably Haunted. So if you want to see that, go back and look at watch my WIP parade from last episode, because I do show it in there. I'll probably pull that one. I'm gonna take the Love is Love, and then I will probably for sure take Halloween Night, and I that's all I've for sure decided on so far. Okay, so the last thing that I have for you is some haul. So pardon me while I drag my basket over. Okay, sorry. So the first thing that I got, I think this is a Plum Street sampler. It's called Blackberry House. I think I love this one. Oh, it's beautiful. I did get the called for threads. I probably will not do it on this color fabric. I'll swap it out for something else. I just haven't decided what yet. I also got this one from the Blue Flower. This is Forest Home. I love the Blue Flower. Her charts are amazing. So it says, "Our roots are in the depths of the woods." Beautiful. And then I was at my local needlepoint, or my local cross stitch store, and I picked this one up. So this is called Autumn Garden Autumn Garden at Cranberry Manor, and it's by Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery, which I'd never heard of before, but this is a really cute little pattern. I really like this one. I also got some fabric. It's another Fiber on a Whim. This is Morganite, and it is a very lovely pale pink. It does not have really any modeling to it, but it's a gorgeous pale pink. I'm sorry this isn't being picked up super well on the camera, but it's almost too subtle for the camera to pick it up well. And then I also show September's fabric of the month from Mystic Fabrics. So this one is called Denim, and this is the 20 count Aida. It's very pretty. It absolutely looks like denim. I also get the 32 count linen, which is also beautiful. So that's gorgeous. And then I managed to snag a Jasmine custom bags from, she's on Instagram. She posts her bags on Instagram, and I love this one. I love it. So I was super excited to get this. I feel like I don't have notifications turned on Instagram, so I frequently miss out on her bags, but I was able to snag this one, and I'm very excited. So I'll link her below. But yeah, I love my Jasmine custom bag. It's gorgeous. I also got, it's a similar, but not exactly the same fabric. This is from an Etsy shop called Maggie's Minders. So more purple. I love my purple bags. I did also get a new grime guard. I loved this fabric. And then I did get some needle minders from her as well. So she has some needle minders. So stick them with the pointy end, and a girl has no name. Those are Game of Thrones references. And I love these two dragons too. So got a few needle minders. And then I might have gone slightly overboard, but if you did watch my WIP parade, you saw that I have a lot of really large projects. I also have several that are kitted up and ready to be started that are supersize max color. And so I went a little crazy and bought some more bags from Kaylee 10 Stitch. So I got this one. These are big, and they're big on purpose. I got the big ones on purpose. So that one's beautiful. I actually have this one already, but I got another one because how could I love me some Star Wars. I love me a beautiful pink bag. So I got that one. This one is super fun. I love Australia and all the wonderful animals they have down there. So I love Kaylee's bags. Kaylee's bags are amazing. And then this is the last one that I got. So beautiful. Gorgeous, gorgeous. So I have plenty of big projects to put in those. And then I treated myself to a couple of kits from a couple of different places. So I ordered a kit from Paint Free Craft for this. This is Belle the Highland Cow, or Coo. I think they call them coos in Scotland. I just love the colors on this. I'm not if you had asked me 2 years ago if I would ever stitch something that had a cow on it, I would tell you were crazy, but she's so pretty. So I got that. So I have the kit with the gridded fabric, and she sends her floss on these lovely cards. And then there's some extra for some of the colors that have a lot. You can see she kind of puts those in a twist, but these are really nice cards. So I won't move these to a floss drop. I'll just keep them on these cards. So I do like Sarah's kitting. She does an amazing job. And that chart, I saw it and I was like, yeah, I have to get that. So I treated myself, and then I finally pulled the trigger, and I dropped it. I ordered a chart from Heaven and Earth Designs. Now, this is inspired by Julie, Kansas City girl in a Colorado world. Yeah, I think that's right. So this is meeting on the turret stairs. So I had been looking at this and looking at it, and I just never pulled the trigger. She actually went to the UK and saw this artwork in person, and I think she started this. She might have started this in the mini, but when I saw when she showed the actual photograph when she was at the museum to see this, I was like, yeah, okay, yep, I'm convinced. So I ordered this as a kit from Heaven and Earth Designs, and as per usual, I don't know if anybody else, sorry, I should have opened that. This is how the kit comes. I've got a little, maybe, no, okay, there. So there's my giant cone of doom, basically, of 310. And then here's the, so they have all their threads on these thread cards. And again, I will keep these on the thread cards. Beautifully packaged. I did pull it out of the infamous purple mailer, and I moved it into this lovely Kaylee 10-stitch bag. So I don't know for sure when I'm going to be starting these two. I suspect next year, though. I suspect they will get put into the rotation as new starts for next year. So that is all of my haul. I think, yeah, I don't really have anything else. Oh, I did actually get a couple of new squashmallows. So these two little guys right here. This one is a turtle. Because I love turtles. Like love turtles. And then this is it's an axolotl. And honestly, I got these so that I can put it under my stitching arm. That's really what they are. I put them under my stitching arm because sometimes I just get just need a little extra prop for when I'm stitching. So that's what these guys are for. But I do love a squashmallow. I can be a kid at heart sometimes, so I did get a couple of little squashmallows to help me as support for when I'm stitching. So I think that's it, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. I look forward to doing an update after I get back from the stitching retreat in New England. Again, if you are going to Stitch New England retreat, please put a comment below so that we can meet up while we're both there. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. That it does really help. I do have some plans for some giveaways when I get to 1,000 subscribers. So please do like and subscribe. And again, thank you for everyone who has already liked and subscribed. I really do appreciate it. So have a wonderful rest of your weekend, or whenever you're watching this. Enjoy, and I will see you next time. Thank you.